Hey guys, it's Rob from Team DBZ Biscuit, and a couple shout outs to a couple players today. Draco77 and more than that, Gemini. You guys wanted to see it and I'm here to do it today. I'm doing a deck profile on my Chaos Dragons current build 2018. Chaos Dragons, for those who don't know, is a mismatched deck of the milling decks of the new millennium between Lightsworns and Burning Abyss. In my eyes, it's the build that I'm most comfortable with, and the build that I actually prefer, because it's just, as the deck says, it's chaos. You know, you drop 3 BLSs nowadays, or 3 Chaos Sorcerers, and your opponent just wants to flip the damn table. Alright, but here we go. Starting off with the Lightsworn build of it. We run 3 Lumina, a mainstay, mills 3, gets those lights, gets those darks in the graveyard. Not to mention her ability to special summon by ditching a card into the graveyard. You can bring out something like a Raiden, or you can bring out something like a Lila, pop that little back row, go for a Plague Spreader play if you have to. You know, you just go from there. Honestly, she goes into Michael, she goes into Trish's, she goes into Crimson Bladers and Scrap Dragons, and she goes into everything. You gotta love the Lumina. She's followed by 3 Raidens. Raidens has got that, I mean, other than being the tuner, one of my major tuners in the deck, he's that gateway into a Michael. He is that summon Lumina, pitch something, get Raiden out, make that Michael. If with any luck you know, go into a glow bulb and go into Crystal Wing. It's crazy stuff. And he's a mill 4 instead of a mill 3. So even if he's staying on the field, he's milling. The destroyer of the deck, Ryko, run 3 of them. He's a good mill 3, plus he gets to pop something. How many? I mean, and it really makes your opponent think if he's going to be popping something. What does he pop? Does he pop the monster? Does he pop the back row? Does he pop a Pendulum Zone card? Does he pop a Link monster? You got so many options with him. He's not even funny. I run the 1/4s of Wolf, Minerva, and Garroth. Only because, well, Minerva, she'll mill 1 if she's sent to the graveyard on a solar recharge, on Charge of the Light Brigade. Wolf will come out if he's sent to the graveyard via the deck. And Garroth, well, Garroth's just a good plus card. If you've got nothing else, you just Lumina into a Garroth, you mill 3, Garroth mills 2, and then you draw for each Lightsworn that Garroth milled. You know, it's pretty simple there. And not to mention, if you're really in a bind and need to do something, Lumina into a Minerva, make a Trish, banish stuff. It's a great play turn 1 play. You know, because your opponent's already, he's going to draw a card, but how would it be to draw into your 5th card? That's why I like to use them. And for some pesky back row destruction, I like to run 2 Lilas, just because, you know, back rows can be a little obnoxious. You know, so, and she mills 3. You know, so mill 3, mill 4, mill this, mill that, and next thing you know. And I also run 1 Felice. Felice is great if she was milled off a Lightsworn effect, because she gets to come out. You know, if you Lumina into a Raiden mills a Felice, then you can make Michael with Felice and Lumina instead of using your Raiden, then you're just popping for a little bit of extra pop. Also, Raiden is good. Felice is good because she can pop 1 face-up monster on the field, and then she mills 3 on top of that. So she's an all-around good card. All these gates into Michaels. Or if you Lumina Raiden and you bring out a Lumina into a Ryko and bring out a Raiden, there's another Trish. How many ways can we make Trish? Too many. Of course, it wouldn't be a Lightsworn engine without a Judgment Dragon. You know, nothing makes your opponent sadder if you Black Rose his field and then special summon a JD for game. And that just happens. Now we get into the dragon part of it. The chaos part will come later when I go into the Burning Abyss and all the dark monsters that I run. But I do run, for now, I run 1 Eclipse Wyvern. Wyvern sent to the graveyard by a card effect, sent to the graveyard by battle, sent to the graveyard as a synchro monster. He will get you any of your boss dragons of the deck. Your Judgment Dragon you can banish your Red Eyes Darkness Metal, you can banish Dark Arm Dragon. You can banish just a lot of stuff and get them back easily by banishing Wyvern. As I spoke of Darkness Metal is great. Darkness Metal is part of a loop that I like to run with Light Pulsar Dragon. Kill Light Pulsar, get Darkness Metal, special summon Light Pulsar next turn. And then if you're lucky, you may have a Plague Spreader, you could have a Glow Up Bulb in your hand. Bring out the Glow Up Bulb, make a Michael, banish a card, hit that Glow Up Bulb in the graveyard, mill one, make Crystal Wing. Now you got a one-shot skill drain on the field. It's pretty nice stuff. It's really fun deck to play. I love playing it. I run Dark Flare just for the darkness value because in my draw engine I run 3 Allure of Darkness, and he's a good card just to banish, or if you're in a real tight jam where your opponent plays his entire hand and you just want to say screw you, you special summon Light Pulse, you special summon Dark Flare, yeah, activate that Plague Spreader in the graveyard, you make a Black Rose, you nuke the whole damn field. Now your opponent's top decking and he has nothing on his field. It's good stuff. The Dark Arm Dragon. Dark Arm, I'm thinking about ditching it, honestly, because this deck moves so quickly that most of the time when I end up with the Dark Arm in my hand, I have way too many Darks that even barbaring twice won't get the job done. So imagine that. But he's in there for now. He may come out later. Now for the other milling part of the deck, the Burning Abyss engine. You gotta have your mandatory 1 tour guide, your 1 graph, and your 1 seer. Just because of the fact that, it's a 1/4 and it recycles itself. My common play, for instance, is to, if it's turn 1, tour guide, into graph, make Dante, detach graph, mill 3, see what I get, and then if I need to, bring out accordingly. Obviously, if you're using a tour guide, you're not going to go for the Skarm, so I usually go for the Farfa play. So that way, if you pop Farfa, your monster gets banished for the turn. It's pretty remedial after that. It's basically your Burning Abyss engine. I run 1 Barbar, 1 Farfa, and 1 Skarm as well. It's a million ways to make a Dante. 2 Luminas make a Dante too, but it's a really bad way to make a Dante. I also like to go into Breaksword for those times when somebody has something really bad on the field and you just want to get rid of it, and you've got other plays in hand. But that's the Burning Abyss engine of it. Like I said, it's a fun deck. It's not. I mean, granted, I took it to the last regional I went to, and every time I tried to play a spell card, somebody would Ash Blossom me. And that's just the way where we're from. Regionals are everybody has Ash Blossom, so everybody Ash Blossoms the first spell card they see. But going into detail, I run 2 Plague Spreaders, and this is the Chaos engine of the deck. I run 2 Plague Spreaders. Plague Spreader great because he can be brought out by placing a card back on the deck, and when you bring out, say, special summon Chaos Sorcerer, activate Plague in the Grave, banish their monster, hit a Beals. Chaos Sorcerer, just so spectacular, I decided to run 2 of him. And along with his big brother, 3 BLS, you are going to see a lot of stuff getting banished between the 5 cards. Not to mention BLS can cause a game if you drop an Honest on him and you attack something bigger than he is. I run the 1/4 Glow Up Bulb, just because Glow Up Bulb is nice to go into Trish. It's nice to go into Crystal Wing and have that 1 negation and that monster that will attack anything that's got level 5 or higher and just make its life points 0 and do 3k damage automatically. It's amazing. I run 3. The draw engine is huge. I know you guys watch my Dark World videos and think, God, what a draw engine. This draw engine and search engine is just freaking nuts. Triple Allure Darkness, triple Solar Recharges, and triple Charge of the Light Brigade. I mean, look at the milling. You're milling at least 3, 6, 9. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 6, and 9 is what? 15 cards? So you're basically playing with a 30 card deck. on that. But that's my spell and monster lineup. The extra deck is amazing. I have the Rockstar, and I've said it before, Borreload Dragon. Borreload Dragon is just so mean. Dueling Nexus, I hooked up a Beals and a Michael to the Borreload Dragon and banished my opponent's Beals for game. Borreload Dragon is just nuts with what he does. He can't be targeted, which means you can't mind control him. You cannot, there's just so much things you can't do. It's easier just to tell you what you can do. You can Regeki him and you can Dark Hole him. That's about it. and he's awesome. I just love having Borreload Dragon in here. And he's so easy to bring out, it's not even funny a lot of the time. The only other Link monster I use is Decode Talker. And Decode Talker, as you know, he can just create havoc on his own if you are able to synchro summon monsters onto him and just make them bigger. And then your opponent puts something in front of him to make him even bigger. I think I've had a Decode Talker up to 3,800 attack, which is stupid, but it happens. The Lightsworn, Michael. I run 2 of those. Banishing stuff is always fun. I run 1 level 7 Black Rose Dragon just for those pesky, decks that like to set everything and tell you to go, and next thing you do, you blow up the field and they have nothing and you have a handful of cards still, so it's a good reason to run him. I run 1 Catastor for anything that's not a light deck, not a dark deck. I mean, play against Blue Eyes with a Catastor, you'll see the guy quit. Because nothing he does is going to get around it. Catastor will kill anything that's not a dark monster. And it's fun. I am running 1 Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing, like I said, he's an automatic 1-turn negation. Not to mention if that monster is level 5 or higher, Crystal Wing, whether he's attacked or attacks, will take all his attack power. I run the 1/4 Beals. Beals is the problem child of the deck, as we would call him, because there's just so many things you can't do to him. You can banish him, you can't destroy him, you can't Regeki him, Dark Hole him, Bottomless Trap Hole him, you can Warning him, you can Strike him, you can Judgment him, but that's all going to cost you in the end. And why would you want to put something into the graveyard when I'm playing Light Pulsar Dragon so I can bring him back out of the graveyard? I run 1 Crimson Blader for pesky decks like Blue Eyes, because if you kill something in Crimson Bladers with Crimson Blader, his effect says they can't special summon anything level 5 or higher the next turn. And you basically shut down any Blue Eyes deck with him. I run 1 Scrap Dragon just because he's a great 1 pop a turn, and he's 2,800, so if you swing to the face, he hurts. Trishula. Trishula is self-explanatory. 1 from the grave, 1 from the hand, and 1 from the field, all at the same time. Goodbye. Won't be seeing him again unless you're running a different dimension reincarnation capsule or whatever the hell that card is. The XYZs, and that's just another thing. This is the only deck I know that truly runs either, most decks run Synchros, XYZs, or Link monsters. This runs all 3. I run 2 Dantes because Dante's a problem child in his own right, because he just never seems to go away because he's always being put back into the extra deck. I will run 1 Breaksword. Like I said, you got that 1 pesky card out there, I'm going to pop it. He becomes a problem child. And then I do run 1 Minerva, the Exalted. Minerva's great because you can detach, mill, and then you draw for each Lightsworn that's milled. Not to mention it's another Lightsworn of a different name, so I can bring out Judgment Dragon easier. But and not to mention she's actually a mill 9, because if you detach both, that's 6, and then if she gets herself killed, you mill 3 more. So that's a mill 9. So you look at the deck, you're probably playing with -5 cards. But anyway, it was great to be back. That is my deck profile on Chaos Dragons. Side decks I would recommend: Mask Restricts for Dracos, And other things, I'm not really sure. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror would pretty much hurt this deck as well. One card I did use in a recent duel, I was playing against Eater of Millions. I played Imperial Iron Wall, and I beat him because he couldn't banish out anything to special summon Eater. He couldn't play his Desires, he couldn't play his Macrocosmos, he couldn't play his Defissure, he couldn't play anything. But guys, you know what? Thanks again for asking for that deck build. I love that deck. It's a great deck to play. If you're gonna go to regionals, play it. Play it. And I guarantee you, you will get somebody that's gonna freaking want to flip the table on you eventually. I know at mine it was a Counter Fairies Dragon, that Counter Fairies guy that didn't want to play, but I mean, I Beals them turn one, and I told him no matter how many Honest you have, I'm gonna get bigger. And he's like, that's right, and he just scooped. But anyway, again, Rob from Team DBZ Biscuit, you know, like, subscribe to the channel, you know, and Draco77, I remember you, France. You won that 500 subscriber playmat. Things looking good, buddy. Alright? You guys have a good day, and I'm out.